Timmy Kane could have been anybody's son.
A beautiful smile.
Was he a happy baby?
He was. He was such an easy baby. He was. He was an easy baby and a good child.
John and Rita Kane are like any other proud parents, going back through family memories, enjoying old snapshots of their son, Timmy.
He was popular at school, and the girls loved him. He was real cute. He had big blue eyes.
An exceptional ninth grader, really. Outstanding student, football quarterback, a 14-year-old with a bright future ahead of him.
I can't think of any time he really got in trouble, no.
No, he was not in trouble in any way, shape, or form.
As good as Timmy was, it turned out he had one tragic flaw. Sergeant William Lawless, a sheriff's deputy for 11 years, would discover that flaw during his investigation into one of Pasco County, Florida's most gruesome crimes.
There's a leader and there's followers. Timothy Kane was a born follower. He would have followed anybody.
In fact, he did. It started one night in January 1992, Super Bowl Sunday to be exact, when Timmy met up with some friends, older friends.
They wanted to break into a house and everything, and I really didn't think that they were going to actually do anything as far as breaking into a house, but you know, it was kind of exciting just them talking about it.
So while millions of kids their age were watching the Super Bowl, Timmy and his friends were outside on a quiet street in Hudson, Florida. Andrew Galarno, a crime reporter for the St. Petersburg Times, showed us where the boys met to discuss their plan.
That's the point at which they made their decisions. As it turned out, the decisions about how the rest of their lives would go, really.
The ringleader was 19-year-old Alvin Morton. The group also included Timmy's best friend, 17-year-old Bobby Garner, and two other younger teenaged boys.
Most of the talk was about burglary. They were going to break in, they were going to steal some things, but Alvin was also talking about doing something more.
Timmy says he didn't know it, but days earlier, Alvin, the 19-year-old, had boasted to another friend that he could easily commit a murder.
He wanted to kill somebody because he wanted to see how it felt.
How could 14-year-old Timmy Kane, by all accounts a good kid, get mixed up with the likes of Alvin Morton?
He was fascinating, I guess you could say. Like when we went swimming or something, he'd be the first one to jump out of a tree into the water and stuff like that.
So when you would hang around him, you did things you never did before.
I was like running with the big boys, as they call it, you know,
And that made you feel good?
it made me feel grown up, you know. He's a grown up and he doesn't mind hanging around with me. That it made me feel like, yeah, I'm really grown up now.
And that was exciting.
Yeah.
But Timmy says his excitement turned to fear when Alvin showed up that fateful night with this 12-gauge shotgun. Timmy, a boy with no police record, then faced the biggest decision of his young life: stay with his older friends or run away.
Then the seriousness of the situation started really to take an impact on me, and I didn't want to have no part of it then, you know, and they're, come on, Tim, don't be a chicken.
The two other younger boys got on their bikes and sped away, but not Timmy.
What did they possess that you didn't at that very moment?
Courage.
People who might be watching this will want to believe, come on, you knew right from wrong. Get on that bicycle and leave.
I just ended up going with him. It just seemed like I had to, you know, like I had to.
The thought of the moment that his friends would not welcome him anymore, that was more terrifying to him than whatever lay behind the door.
So Timmy decided to follow his two older friends into the house that night. Alvin kicked in the front door, and Bobby and Timmy followed behind. For Timmy Kane, it was conformity gone horribly wrong.
How do you prevent your 14-year-old son from going through that door?
I thought common sense would prevent you from going through that door.
He didn't have common sense.
No.
Was he weak?
Yes.
Once inside, the situation escalated wildly out of control. But still, Timmy Kane could not turn back. He says fear kept him there.
I seen a man come out, an older man, and Alvin took the shotgun and laid him on the ground. His mother had come out, and she was really hysterical at that point. Like, the son was, you know, just lay down, Mom, just lay down, Mom.
A 55-year-old man and his 75-year-old mother on the floor pleading for their lives, held at gunpoint by Alvin Morton. But as it turned out, there was a third captive in that room that night, 14-year-old Timmy Kane.
I had told him, I don't want to have nothing to do with no people or nothing, you know, and Alvin said, well, you're not going anywhere, you know, and...
Did you think about running out the door?
I was just too scared to move, you know?
And still conforming by not challenging the older boys, not standing up for himself, and not leaving the house before it was too late. Because before Timmy knew it, Alvin killed the man with a shotgun blast to the head. And then Alvin and Bobby turned to the elderly woman, beating, kicking, and stabbing her until she fell silent.
She just lay still. And I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't. It seemed too unreal to be real.
But it was real. Not a TV cop show or a Rambo movie, or even Timmy's friends talking tough about a would-be murder.
I mean, just seeing two people die right before my eyes when I've never seen no one dead in my entire life until that point, you know. Just seeing the realness of life, you know, how it can be taken just that quick.
Timmy's need to belong had outweighed everything else. His upbringing, his popularity in school, and his sense of right and wrong. When confronted with the most critical decision of his life, he chose conformity over his conscience.
Now, when I look back on it, the first choice that I really had, I blew it.
The most important choice.
Timmy Kane was convicted of first-degree murder, just like Alvin Morton and Bobby Garner. Despite never touching the victims, Timmy was held responsible under Florida's felony murder rule. And although he was a juvenile, he was treated as an adult because the prosecution claimed he helped plan the break-in. Timmy denies this.
A felon, a convicted felon involved in a double homicide. Is that who you are?
No, I believe that if they'd have looked inside my heart, they'd known that that's not anything what I wanted, you know, and if I could give my life today that they'd have their lives, you know, I probably would.
You'd give up your life for those two people?
To live, yes, definitely.
Today, Alvin Morton, the ringleader who fired the shotgun, and Bobby Garner, Timmy's best friend, are serving double life sentences. Meanwhile, Timmy Kane is serving a minimum of 25 years in a maximum security prison. His earliest possible release will be in the year 2017. He'll be 39 years old.
I don't know if we'll be alive to see Tim come out of prison. That's a long time.
That's gotta be tough. Your dad broke down yesterday. He had some tough moments yesterday.
I know I really hurt him by all this happening to me. He feels like he was responsible, that he didn't do a good enough job. But I know he did a good enough job. He did a good job.
It haunts him. Does it still haunt you?
It just makes me definitely think about every situation and every circumstance and every decision that I have to make from here on out. This might have made me a better person.
Sounds strange, doesn't it? For all this to happen to make you a better person.
I hope it's something that makes someone else better, too.
And that's why Tim Kane, 18 at the time of our interview, agreed to talk to Dateline. Because if he had stood up for himself in 1992, right now he could be sitting in a college classroom, not a prison cell.
I know that there's people out here that they're going to probably come across the same situation I did, that I don't want somebody to make the wrong decision like I've made, you know. I want them to do what's right and have courage for what is right.
To think for themselves?
To act from your heart, not just from what other people think about you.
Last year, Timothy Kane lost his final appeal. State officials say he's become a model prisoner and works in the office of the prison chaplain.